Mine was a sprain and a fracture. Nerve damage in the arm, I think like spondylosis. Mine was a rolled ankle.
I sprained my ankle.
I rolled my ankle.
I'm Camille.
I'm Katherine.
I'm Ava.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're the Gymnastics Girls.
Today we're going to be showing you how to heal an injury, and it's really helpful because I'm pretty sure all of us have injured ourselves at least once in gymnastics.
Definitely.
So we're just going to give you some tips.
So we're gonna show you guys how to heal your ankles, wrists, and your like arm and back and legs and your neck. And then we're gonna teach you how to heal like overall soreness and like ribs and just smaller injuries.
So this is just for small injuries, like if you like rolled your ankle or something. If you actually have a serious injury, we're not specialists, so you should probably go to a doctor for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. Woo! Okay, so our first injury we're gonna help you heal is an ankle injury. So we've all gotten ankle injuries past from gymnastics, and it's like pretty common in gymnasts, I'm pretty sure.
First off, we each had different scenarios of how we hurt our ankles. Mine was a rolled ankle.
Mine was a sprain and a fracture.
I sprained my ankle.
I rolled my ankle.
So all of these have different severity levels, so there's different methods to help, but they're all relatively like the same. Especially like the rice method, you've probably heard that before. A lot of gymnasts have heard of it.
Yeah, basically what it is, it's R for rest, I for ice, C for compression, and E for elevation. So you want to make sure you rest it, you want to make sure you put a lot of ice on it, and some compression to make sure that the swelling goes down. And then you want to make sure you elevate it like on a pillow or something.
Yeah, above your heart level.
Yeah.
So a good way to bring down the swelling if you like just injured it or something is maybe like put your ankle and foot in an ice bath. When I sprained my ankle, I put it in a bucket of ice.
Also, you should wrap it and probably try to stay off of it if you rolled your ankle or did any type of injury to your ankle, because you don't want to keep going on it or else it's going to get worse or just like stay as a bad injury.
Yeah. So I got this ankle brace at Rite Aid. So it's really easy to find. It's by Ace. They have really good ones. It works for both feet. So it doesn't matter if it was your left foot or your right foot. It literally fits on both. So this doesn't really just work for ankle. It also works for many other injuries. But we really recommend Icy Hot because it gives you a really good mixture of hot and cold. It literally says it in the name. So it really helps relieve like pain, and it numbs your foot when it gets cold, and it also like helps ease the muscle when it's hot. So it comes in like, they have cream, and then they also have patches that you can put on. So that really helps with ankle injuries too.
So our next tip is how to stretch your arms and wrists if you like damaged it somehow.
One of the things that's happened to Ava and I before is nerve damage in the arm, especially if you hyperextend it or something or land on it really hard in a skill. In the moment, it feels like you bent it backwards like the wrong way. It's kind of weird because it's nerve damage, and so sometimes when I was writing in school, like my hand would sort of just like give up and I would drop my pencil because the nerves were so damaged. We have different tips to help you with that kind of thing, like wrapping it. I also have braces. These are mostly just for the wrist, not really the arm part, but if you get these, they're also probably at Rite Aid. It's literally just like a wrist brace.
Also, when I hurt my arm, I did like a back handspring and it kind of just like twisted the wrong way. All I did was just ice it the whole time, and then afterwards I did some movements, which we'll show you.
There's a lot of different stretches to help you get back into like moving your arm, because after a while it's probably gonna hurt to even just move it. Once you feel confident enough in stretching it, then you can get ready, but if it still hurts a lot, don't stretch it yet.
My wrists start hurting a lot when I first start doing gymnastics, like in the beginning of practice, because it might be because they're not as stretched out as they could be. So what I do is I stretch them out. I do different stretches. It helps them a lot to not hurt as much when we're doing skills like round up back handsprings or things that apply a lot of pressure on your wrists, like this.
Because remember, your whole arms and everything is what you're throwing yourself onto most of the time. So you want to make sure everything is warmed up so you're not like
if you feel that your arms are kind of weak, it wouldn't hurt to do some arm exercises to build up arm muscle, because especially if you're throwing like major back tumbling, it's very dangerous if your arms aren't strong enough to hold you up, because then they could collapse and you can hurt yourself. So it never hurts to do some arm exercises.
Yeah.
So next we're going to be talking about back. We know in gymnastics back is really important and it's easy to hurt it. We're going to talk about like the spine issues that's more severe, which they have experience with. And then I'm gonna also talk about just pulling your back muscles, which also really hurts. When you pull a back muscle, heat it as much as you possibly can. You have no idea. I was constantly sitting on one of those back heaters. You can literally buy those at like anywhere. When you're heating stuff, it's normally for muscles, and then when you want to ice it is when it's like a bone issue.
Or if it's like sore or something.
Yeah.
So Ava and I, we both have basically like the same back problem.
Yeah.
So it's not just like
similar to
it's like something like spondylosis. Both of our vertebrae are like contracting against each other. So every time we did stuff like, let's say back walk or run beam, anything that kind of like arched our back would hurt
front
this
tuck.
whole,
If we landed with like our back even slightly like arched
hollow
back,
or something like
or
this.
like not straight, I think it was because it put a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah, so good ways to heal that is to roll it out. So if you have like a back roller.
Oh yeah, that helps with back.
Yeah, it's like a styrofoam kind of like cylinder thing, and you just roll it out, and then if you have like upper like she did, you can roll that out too.
A roller can be used for like any part of your body basically.
Yeah.
When I was doing things like back walkovers on beam or anything that like I had to use my back like arching a lot, my back would start hurting, and my tailbone too. What I did for that is I used a lot of stretches to help the muscles and like stretch them out.
So every time you go to practice and you're warming up, make sure to do rock and roll.
Yes.
Because
the back
that's very,
bends, and then
very
you rock
important. Back bend, rock and roll, straighten your legs in a back bend, rock and roll.
One of the reasons why I pulled my back muscles was because like we get out of school at the same time our gymnastics practice starts, so we're always rushing there.
Right.
We barely get any time to warm up, which is really bad for us. Even if you're late to practice, use time to warm up. Like don't be scared of going late and like, oh my god, I have to catch up with my team. Like warm up, take the time. It's actually really important.
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the neck, like pulling your neck or having a stiff neck or anything like that.
I pulled both neck muscles, so that's great. It was really, really painful. And I, like when I pulled my right neck muscle, I was stuck like this for an entire day, because even if I straightened it a little bit out, it would hurt so bad. So my main tip is heat. Heat, heat, heat. It is the most important thing when you pull a neck muscle, because you really need to loosen them up.
To kind of like loosen your neck up is if you like roll it around and try to like not keep it in one position
Always
all the time.
have to do that.
Like before practice, even if you're just like, oh, my neck is not important, I'm not gonna hurt my neck, how am I gonna do that? You really need to stretch your neck out, even if you don't think you're gonna hurt it.
And like after an advanced skill or just any skill in general, if you like do a weird movement with your neck, make sure you like hold it and like try to massage it yourself.
Yeah, and icy hot especially, that also really helps. I know we've been saying like icy hot a lot, but it's so helpful. Like we're not just saying that, it's actually really good.
And if you don't have icy hot, I know there's something called Bengay, which is like the exact same thing. And it kind of smells like mint.
Bengay is more like just cold though. Like icy hot goes from like hot to cold, which I really like about that.
Yeah, but either one, methanol is just good overall for us.
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is legs, and there are many different ways to injure your legs.
I hyperextended my knee like a couple weeks ago or something, and I wrapped it up, but it actually hurt a lot, so I think it would have been better if I put a brace on it to keep it more like stable.
Stiff,
stiff.
What happened with me is I've had shin splints I think 3 times like in my whole gymnastics career. So basically what shin splints are is just like a tore muscle in your shins, which is this area right here. It's really common when you're doing gymnastics, especially if you're like landing really harsh. So in order to help that is just stretches. So if you do like a pike and then you grab your feet, it kind of stretches out the bottom and the top. You also want to ice it a lot because that helps it kind of bring down the swelling. And it's really like severe pain when you walk, so I'd suggest resting a lot.
I get a lot of leg soreness, so basically what I do to help combat that is to stretch them out a lot. that's basically all you can do. Like some people take like ice baths. I haven't tried that yet, so I'm just sticking with stretching them out and like waiting it out, and making sure you eat like healthy foods to make your muscles grow and get stronger.
Another good thing is Epsom salt. So you just put it in like an ice bath or even a hot bath, and it just relaxes your muscles throughout the time.
Also, like Maddie said, if you want to see some like healthy foods to help you with your muscle gain and stuff like that, we have a video on it, so go check it out. I'll put the link in the description.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna show you guys how to heal is just overall soreness and rips and like minor injuries, I guess.
Yeah. So for rips, I know before I got grips, I used to rip almost every other practice. It was so bad. I would like bleed from my hands. It was really bad. So we really recommend grips. You should ask your coaches if you can get them, because honestly, they changed my life. Like after I got grips, I never ripped again. So you should really look into that.
A good way to heal it is put tea bags over it. So you like wet the tea bag a bit, and then you put it on, and you can put like a sock or like a glove and just keep it on overnight. And then when you wake up, it'll be softer. If it's actually ripped, cut it right away. Don't peel it. Just put disinfectant spray so it doesn't get infected, and put a band-aid or a wrap over it.
Also, if you don't have like a tea bag or something, you can always put Neosporin on it and wrap it.
Yeah,
that's what I usually
or like
do.
Vaseline or something.
Yeah.
Anything like
Like, if you do have a bleeding rip, something that one of the people at our gym taught me was if you take like a cotton ball, put some disinfectant, and you press down on it for a good like 30 seconds, it'll help clot the blood so that it stops, you know, streaming down, because like you don't want to get blood on your bars. So if you just press on it, give it a lot of compression, it'll help stop the bleeding.
I have really short wristbands, so my grip would like it would like scratch against the side of my hand, and it caused my hand to bleed sometimes like onto my grip, so I have like blood stains on my grip. And so you should probably get longer wristbands to like help prevent that.
Next, we're going to talk about overall soreness. This is the last thing we're going to go over. So just remember, heat is for muscles and ice is for bones. If you feel like, oh, maybe this is a bone thing, then maybe you could go to the doctor, look at x-rays if you think it's really serious. But if it's just muscle, usually you can tell the difference. Then you can just heat it and help it.
Yeah, and if you have like a sprain, you'll see like bumps or something, like lots of swelling.
Different colors.
But if you have like a broken bone, you'll definitely be able to tell. Make sure to still go to the doctor, but when you're back and you're at home and stuff, try doing all these tips.
Yeah, like to avoid, you know, hospital trips and stuff. If you already know how to be proactive and make sure it doesn't happen again, or make sure it doesn't happen at all, you can follow these tips to help prevent any of these things from happening to you. Thank you guys for watching our video, and we hope you guys like actually got helpful tips from this, because all of us have at least gotten one of these injuries at one time or another. So we really know like different methods on how to help with them, because trust me, we are like very injury prone.
And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, because we will be having awesome videos coming up.
Also, make sure to follow our social medias. The links are going to be in the description.
Bye guys.